Okay, so I've got to explain something before we sort of dive into looking at Armada Megatron. Very recently, we looked at Armada Optimus Prime with his trailer, which I'm not a fan of. You probably know that by now. But we also looked at Overload, and we looked at Jetfire, and then finally, in part 4 of that little series, we looked at all of them combined. Well, in essence, we're going to do a similar thing with Megatron. And you might be saying, okay, great, so that means we're going to look at Tidal Wave. Well, actually, we've already looked at Tidal Wave. Technically, this review is going to be part 2 of our series. You see, I looked at Tidal Wave back in episode 308, a long time ago. I'll probably end up linking it through a card somewhere up in the corner, so you can go back and check it out. To be fair, though, that's a bit of a rough review. But all of my thoughts about this guy still hold true. He's pretty great. Not perfect. I really wish he had knees, but he is pretty great. That would be part 1. So way back, episode 308 would be part 1. Today, we're going to do part 2, which is going to be this guy. Yes, it's not really Megatron. It's actually the Galvatron version. And it serves the exact same function as the Megatron version, except it's colored differently. And I'll explain why we have a different color and kind of how Megatron became Galvatron by my understanding this, in this fiction. And sort of, gloss over where that came about. Oh, and I guess while we're at it, we'll also look at not one, but 2 little Minicon partners. And I'll explain what I mean with that. We're going to cover all of this in part 2 of this very peculiar series in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, baby, light them up. That's right, and hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors NL, and the Autobot family. Have a look for me everywhere across social media. You can check us out on Patreon and see what we offer via Teespring. All of those links are down in the description below. And this is actually Galvatron. It's the exact same mold as Megatron. I went through this big spiel and explanation of things when we kind of kicked things off here. Part 1 was Tidal Wave, who's pretty great, not perfect, but pretty great, and we looked at him a long time ago in episode 308, and now we have this mold, which is kind of not only the leader of the Decepticons, but it is the mold that ties in with Tidal Wave. Now, here in part 2, we're only going to be looking at this guy and his Minicon partners. Actually, it's the exact same Minicon, just recolored. One is leader, one is Clench, right? You'll see when we look at them. Not a bad Megatron. This is, it's not perfect, but it's infinitely better than that Optimus Prime. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess you got to really kind of focus on the positive aspects with the Armada line. And luckily, this guy has several of them and a lot of things to explore, which really helps the fun factor. So without any further ado, how about we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And what is an Optimus without a Megatron? Or, well, in this case, a Galvatron, which is the exact same mold as Megatron. Of course, this is on loan by a good friend of the channel, Maximal10. It's one of those dichotomous duos that are just classic. Optimus, Megatron, Batman, Joker, Spider-Man, Green Goblin, although some might say Spider-Man, Venom, or any other number of characters. You get the idea. It's one of those yin and yang relationships. And in Armada, really what ended up happening to make the change between Megatron and Galvatron was, from what I recall, in a nutshell here, this guy ended up as Megatron, along with a few Autobots, I believe, basically fighting Nemesis Prime, thinking it was Optimus Prime, was getting the tire kicked out of him, and a bunch of Minicons gave him and the Autobots like a power-up that basically reinforced their armor and thereby changed their color. And when he got stronger with better armor, instead of calling himself Megatron, he called himself Galvatron, but it's the same guy, same mold. We do have two Minicons here. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but you can probably guess who the two Minicons are. Naturally, this right here is Leader 1 that comes with the Armada Megatron mold. And back here, though it's the exact same mold, it's now Clench. I don't know. I have no idea why Leader 1 became Clench. I don't know. Now, besides for Megatron and Galvatron, I think this mold was used to make like Universe Mega Zarek. I think it was used to make like a black Megatron. Like, it was used a few times, and it's honestly a pretty good mold. Not perfect, but pretty good. I detested the Optimus with the trailer. I think it's the worst thing ever there was. Maybe this is better. I may miss things. I'm not super familiar with this mold, but I'm gonna do my best for you folks. So, in this mode, we of course can roll no problem. The Minicons, I'm gonna just take them off for now. We will look at them in a little bit, but the Minicons, you know, can go in on like ever so many places. Minicon port here, one here, one here. Is there one on that? I don't think there's one necessarily right there on the side. There is on the side over here. That might be one. There's one up here. There's of course this one up here. And some of these of course activate certain gimmicks. If we take a Minicon here and I don't know, let's take this lad and see if we can get this on and get it. Just getting these on sometimes are a chore to me. There. And you can bring it down and over. That's how it's supposed to work. I couldn't get it going with the Minicon, but that's how it's supposed to work. It makes this come up, and I guess that these are supposed to fire. That's my guess. But that's what that one does. This one down here, I don't know. I have no idea what it does. Let's find out what it does. I'm sure you guys know what it does. You guys are probably yelling at me and being like, "GotBot, come on! Don't. What do you mean you don't know what it does?" I don't. Man, you guys know that like Unicron Trilogy is not my jam, man. So we take that and maybe it doesn't do anything. It obviously does something. I can't get it to do anything. Maybe it does it in another mode, but anyway, it is what it is. This can turn around. The turret can go up and down. It's beautiful. He rolls really nice. On this side, this can open out like this, and there's like a claw gimmick thing, so a Minicon could roll up here and then get like... This sticks. This likes to stick. Anyway, it goes up here and you should be able to have this clamp down on it and pull it in, but it does like to stick. I'll have to fix that in a moment. Then we can come over to this side, and if we come over here, that whole side can extend, and then the top and the bottom opens up. You can put a very small Minicon in there from what I'm told. It doesn't fit all of them, but there is definitely a lot of features just in this mode. And before we do the transformation or the articulation or even grade the colors for the main guy, let's look at both of the Minicons first. Of course, we have Leader 1, he has the brighter colors. We have Clench, who has the darker colors, but they basically work exactly the same. They both roll quite nicely. We can fold down the legs and fold up the blaster pieces, I guess, and fold out the little arms, and I think that's it. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's all we're supposed to do. And we get Leader 1 in his robot mode. He can kick forward, he can kick back. He has a knee, but again, like to use it, you need to pull down his little blaster piece there. He has little tiny arms that are kind of always bent. No elbow. Of course, if we come over to Clench here, fold down his legs and straighten them out and stand him up the same way. We have both of them in their little robot modes. I think they look good. I mean, I like the look of both of them. The transformation's super simple. You're just folding the legs down. I wish there was a better way to handle those blasters so that when you fold them up on the back of his legs, they kind of don't take away his knee. For color-wise, I don't know. Again, I'm going to say they're about a 9. I think they're mostly pretty accurate. The transformation, again, about a 9. It's pretty simple for what it is. Some might say 2 or 3, but some might say, hey, you're folding his legs down, that's it. And I get it, you know, I get it. But for these little guys, I like simplicity. And then for the articulation, it's limited. Again, it's average, maybe 5. You know, overall, these aren't the best or the worst of minicons. They're 5 or 6. They're all right. Nothing spectacular. I mean, you know, they're not like Glyftor, who comes with smokescreen or anything, but like, they're all right for what they are. But come on, baby, we all know where the power lies. It's with this guy, and honestly, he's not hard. If you come down underneath, you get a good sensation and a good idea of how this is going to go. Like, you can tell, hey, we are going to extend the legs, and you can even tell, hey, we're going to fold up those toes. These are obviously backwards. Put out these heel spurs, and turn your whole waist around. Beautiful. Then we open up the sections on the side. We'll do the same on the other side. And you just bring the whole arm down and close that in. We'll do the same on the other side and stand the guy up. And now that we've got him reoriented, we can come over here and we open up this section, and we should be able to reach up and bring that down. Then this here, well, actually, I guess we can turn the head. No, we don't turn the head. I'm sorry. We push that down, and his face is right there. Oh, I forgot about that. My mistake. My mistake. And it slides down with this Decepticon logo right there. My mistake. This, I suppose you could leave the cannon on the back, but the intention is to bring it to the side and out under his arm for the most part. And it kind of becomes like a hip cannon thing place type of thing. I will note this because I forgot to do it in the tank mode. There's a little button here, and it opens up all these. I think there's supposed to be missiles or some such thing in there, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, in the end, boom, here we have Galvatron in his robot mode. Now, in terms of his coloration, I would say that this is pretty good based on his cartoon animation. Maybe the thighs should be a bit of a different purple. Maybe some of the lavender should be a darker purple. I think the head is mostly right with its maroony color. Same with the cannon. I think that's mostly right. I think the comic books were a little bit of a different color. I think the treads are right, the like whitish gray of the lower legs and whatnot, that's right. So basically, I would say pretty much right, with the lavender able to be a little bit of a darker purple. I'm going to say overall though, it's a solid 9 for sure. The transformation pretty easy, especially with all of the gimmicks. It really doesn't hinder it at all. Way better than Optimus Prime. I'm going to say that the transformation for this guy, honestly, it's pretty fun, pretty interesting. I'm going to say it's a 10. Here he is. Speaking of Optimus Prime, here he is next to, and I'll show this, I guess. Here he is next to, he's obviously bigger, this Optimus Prime. This is trash. The Deluxe is the one, I think they call it Bendy Prime. It's way better. I don't like anything about this. Optimus, of course, is smaller. A lot of people would argue and say, hey, that's accurate. So, I mean, it is what it is. No doubt about it. In terms of the articulation, this guy's actually not bad. Not perfect, but he's not bad. He's certainly solid. I'll give him that. And the arms, the shoulders have heavy ratchets. Let's even get this back out of the way. Heavy, heavy ratchets on the shoulders. I think that's cool. The arms can go out to the side. I think that's cool. We have a good 90 degrees on a ratchet. We have wrist swivel. We have bicep swivel. We have a Minicon port here. We have another Minicon port over here that if you push it makes like this blade thing come out in his hand. I guess that's good if you want. He has a waist if you disengage the kind of cannon. Legs, they can't go forward or back. I think that that's like a lost opportunity. They could have engineered that so that the legs go forward and back, or if they can, I can't get him to do it. He has legs all the way out to the side, which is cool. He has a sideways knee, which is cool, but unfortunately, no actual knee. So the legs are where the limitations come in for this guy for dynamic poseability. But the arms allow him to do a lot of things and add a lot of features. So overall, I'm going to say that his articulation is about a 7.5, maybe even an 8. It's not bad, but he definitely could have benefited from knees and hips. No doubt about it. It's not for me. I mean, I see the room there right away to be improved and updated on. But I can't even say it was great for the time, but he was solid, and that was a good thing. I mean, remember, the Megatron that we had gotten just before this guy was the awesome, the fantastic RID with the 10, 11 modes. It could move every way you could possibly imagine, and then this guy they couldn't bother to give hips or knees to. I don't know. It just, that part doesn't sit right with me. The coloration is good. The transformation is good. The articulation is okay. Overall, as a pairing, I would say that this pairing is really in the ballpark of, I'm just going to put him in here, and for good measure we'll put him in here too. I'm going to say that it's in the ballpark of a solid 8. It's a good set overall. Not perfect, but really good overall. And here we are once again. So you know by now that when it comes to the two minicons, like, they're fine. They're all right. They're probably not amazing, but they're pretty good. A couple of design elements here I would have done differently had I been the designer, but of course I'm not. And then we get to Megatron / Galvatron, and we know that basically this is him, like, more heavily armored up, basically, and apparently armor comes in the form of lavender. I don't know. There's a lot here to like. There's a ton of gimmicks that are actually kind of fun. I like that you can adjust where the cannon goes out the side or on his back. The arms have great, beautiful, clicky ratchets. There's a lot of Minicon things to be able to, like, push forward, and they pop things open. I still, though, I'm going to admit right now, I still have no idea why this one can move or what it's intended to do. Never did figure it out. Whatever. It's the only drawbacks I can really see to this guy. First of all, I love the tank mode, and I love the pieces that come out on his legs and stuff in tank mode. I think it's great. The only issues really at all that I have with this guy is I wish that the legs could go forward. That seems like an oversight that could have been fixed. And I wish we had a knee. I don't know what it is with Armada, and hey, guys don't need knees. I don't get that. He's good. Is he perfect? No, but he is so much better, I think, than the Optimus that comes with the trailer. The Deluxe Optimus, that's probably a bit better. It's a good Decepticon leader. It's imposing. It's not perfect, but it's good, and it's functional, and it's fun, and it looks kind of great on a shelf. Let me know what you think about this guy. You know I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you coming by. Give me some of your extremely valuable time. I know how important it is to you if you're in a position to help the channel to grow. There's a donate link down in the description. You can also check out our Patreon and see what we offer through Teespring. Don't forget, somehow, some way, each and every single day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way. We do have part 3, the combined mode, coming up right here inside the video.